Flipping houses is not what people think it is. It's not. There's a lot of gurus that teach people how to do this. They charge a lot of money to teach people how to do it. And they're so full of shit. Oh, you don't need any money to flip houses. You don't need any money to be in real estate. First of all, if you got to have some money, okay? Even if you're going to wholesale property, you got to put down an earnest money deposit. And if you go borrow the earnest money deposit, they're making all the money, not you, because they're going to double their money on you. So you need $1,000 earnest money deposit. They're going to tag you for $2,000. And it's anybody that says that, I have zero respect for. I know that's how they get people into their trash. Oh, you don't need any money. Okay, then why are you charging $10,000 to be part of your private Facebook group? That's absurd. So anybody says that, I don't like it. Flipping houses, you absolutely need money to flip houses. When it comes down to it, yes, you get during the rehab on a fix and flip house, you get a fix and flip note. And you'll have, say you get a $100,000 house that needs $80,000 in rehab. You end up putting 20% down because you're brand new to it. So you put $80,000 down, you have $80,000 to draw on. So you have a $160,000 note. And as you're drawing on the note, you may not be getting back what you put in, what you put into the deal. So if say you're using 100% credit cards and you think you only have $30,000 available on your credit card, and you have your demo guys go in, you find out that's pretty cheap. Your dumpsters were pretty cheap. And then as soon as you start doing anything, you start working on plumbing and moving walls around and drywall and electrical, and you realize it's no longer cheap. And you go to pull your first draw, you're capped out. You're at 30%, right? 30%. You're at 30,000. You've already blown all your credit card money. And you go to get your first draw on this note, and they're only going to give you back $20,000, right? And then you're like, well, I can work with 20,000, but you're at the expensive part. The further you get into your project, the more expensive it gets. The final stuff is the most expensive stuff. Countertops, cabinets, flooring, tile, custom tile showers or whatever. That's the most expensive part. So you're at your second draw, and you don't want to do a lot of draws, by the way. On $80,000 rehab, maybe 4 draws. So you're at your second draw, and you submit your second draw. You're capped out again. You only spent $20,000. You only had $20,000 to spend, and they're like, "Yeah, we're only giving you 15." Well, now you're carrying $15,000 in credit card debt. You're coming up on the end of your project, but you don't have enough money to finish it. You see what I'm saying? That's when it becomes a problem. So you spent 30, you got back 20 to keep going on your project. You spend that 20, now you're only giving you back 15, and so you're carrying $15,000 worth of debt on your card, and you don't even have enough money to finish the project, and you got to go, okay, now we got to do paint and trim and doors, and they're going to tell you, well, you didn't put the doorknobs on, so we're not paying for those. And you're going to be like, well, we got all the HVAC prepped and the lines are run and the ductwork is done. And they're like, well, where's the unit? We sent the inspector out there to look at the house for the draw, and there's no HVAC unit. It's not on site yet, but I ordered it. It's right here. It was $4,500. The system was. And they're like, it's not on site. We don't care. We're not paying you back for that. And now your credit card is maxed out and you have $0 left to fix this project. If anybody tells you that it doesn't take any money to flip a house, they are full of shit. Your friends are not going to be able to help you out unless you know people that are in the industry and you've been doing it for a while and they've seen that you're doing it for a while and they can trust you, right? There's no aspect of flipping actually that costs nothing. Whether you wholesale or sub to or whatever, like I said, EMD money, closing money, double closing money, transactional money, you're going to pay at some point, and you're going to need money to do that. If you, even on a fix and flip, maybe you thought you were more qualified than you are, and you're not a top tier borrower yet. You're not a top tier flipper to the lenders, and they're like, well, you're not getting our 7.5% down, 5% down thing that we give the best people out there. You're getting 15% down still. And we're only going to give you, most of them are going to give you 100% rehab. But even then, maybe your appraisal comes back short and they're like, well, we got to cut your $100,000 rehab down to 80. So from day one that you are going to pay out of pocket $20,000 at the end of this thing. And that's typically not how it works, by the way. Most lenders, if they're only going to do 80% rehab, they're only going to give you 80% of the money on a draw. So even if they give you the full amount, so you pull a $20,000 draw and they're only paying for 80% of this rehab because they cut that down to 80% for whatever reason. They're like, we want you to pay your 20% now, not at the end, which is how some people think it works. No, their $20,000 draw, they're going to give you 16 back and be like, well, you paid for the other 4, you know? And they're not covering your payments during this. You got to kind of build those in if you're contracting, if you're doing your own work or whatever. There's ways you can manipulate it, but it's never moneyless. Your down payment and your closing costs are gonna scare the hell out of you the first time you do it. You're gonna go buy a $250,000 house, a $200,000 house, something like that, and you're gonna be asked to put down $50,000, and you'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, because it's not just the down payment. So maybe your down payment stays 15% on $200,000. So you're already putting down 30, and you have to pay for your insurance, and they'll roll that for you into the closing costs. A lot of them will. So maybe your insurance is $2,500, and then you're going to have to prepay a year's worth of taxes. So you're paying your taxes and your insurance all completely up front. Maybe your taxes are another $2,500. So now you're at $35,000 plus whatever the title company charges you, plus the underwriting fee, plus the processing fee that the lender charges. I mean, plus. And before you know it, you're looking at a $45,000 closing cost, and you're like, man, I thought this was going to be like 35 G's. I just want to warn people out there that there's a lot of people that tell you can do all of this stuff with no money, and it's just not true. You're using somebody's money. And by the way, think about it this way. This is another thing to think about. Well, you don't have to use your money. You can use somebody else's money, but you partner with somebody and you're going to give up what? Half the equity? 60% of the equity? 40% of the equity? I'm telling you, if I'm giving you my money and my money's paying for everything, I'm getting 60%. So you are paying. I hate to tell you, but if you lose half the profit, you're paying. That's huge. That's a huge amount of money. I like that return for me. Not so much for you. Hope you know what you're doing running the project. But I'm just telling you, there's no such thing as, oh, you don't need any money. Well, if you don't need any money and somebody else is providing the money, you're losing a huge chunk of the money. Okay? That's just the way it is. If somebody else is providing your down payment, initial liquidity to get the project rolling, and the down payment, they're going to get their money back and then some. They're going to get paid back first, and then you split the profit. So, no, there's no such thing as you need no money to do wholesaling, sub-2, any kind of creative financing, wraps, fix and flip, the BRRRR method, DSC. I don't care what it is. It requires you to have some money. Please do yourself a solid. Pay for somebody's knowledge. Learn that, but don't partner with people at the gate. You will feel lousy at the end of a 6-month build when you watch the checks getting dispersed and this guy over here put down $40,000 for you and provided all of the capital, and even the capital beyond the rehab money sometimes provided, they're the ones getting reimbursed, not you. So you're not getting paid to do any of this. You worked for 6 months and you get a $25,000 check. It means you worked for minimum wage for 6 months. Congratulations. So if that's what you want to do, then by all means, then you don't need any money to jump into the real estate game. But if you're going to be putting down EMDs and making offers and trying to do anything at scale, you need actual money to do that. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But that's my PSA to the world is there's too many people out there saying that giving you false hope, saying things, they're telling you things that aren't true. And then they're going to try to sell you an $8,000 course. And I think that's crooked, by the way. I'm going to tell you that you don't need any money to do this. And then I'm going to try to sell you some ridiculously expensive, way overpriced course that, and I've gotten so big now. I have such a huge social media following and so many people in this course and so many people in my group chats and whatnot. I can't give you one-on-one attention. I'm going to pawn you off on someone that's on my team that was literally just a group member a month ago and doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. congratulations, you just spent $10,000 and got hoodwinked. They're going to take 75% of your money when it's all done, and you're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. So that it bothers me. You can learn a lot on YouTube. You don't need the gurus. You can learn everything I know how to do on YouTube. The difference between me and everybody else, when I teach people how to broker hard money loans, I literally hold you by the hand. I'm literally there with you. I'm copied on every single email and I read them. So it's a little different. And I do take half when I do that, but I take half of the proceeds from the loan, not nothing from you when I broker loans. But that's a different thing altogether. But I'm just telling you, I'm going to say it one more time for the homies, people in the back that didn't hear me. You can't get into the real estate game without money. I don't believe it. And if you do get into the real estate game without money, you're not going to make any money. The other guy, the guy that has money, that's the guy that's going to make money. And you did that for him. Okay? So, love ya.